Okay, so when I got married extremely fast. I mean, we met and like 5 days later we were like, we should get married. And then like 10 days after that, we got married. So we got married extremely fast. I had this coworker at the time. When she first started, I didn't really like her. Her vibe was off. Nobody else really liked her either. But throughout time, I started to see a different side of her and I became friends with her. I was very friendly with her. She came to my wedding and everything. She bought us shots. We had a fantastic time. We would hang out outside of work all the time. Through that, she met my husband's best friend and they kind of started seeing each other a little bit. Nothing serious, just kind of talking type thing. For the sake of the story, I'll call him Jake. So my friend calls me one day, FaceTimes me, bawling her eyes out. I mean, inconsolable, bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? And she can't even talk. She's crying so hard. And she said, Morgan, I have something that I have to tell you. So through her sobs, she said, okay, so Jake had told me that pretty much your husband said that you guys got married too quick and he completely regretted being married to you. I couldn't believe it. It made all the sense in the world because we did get married extremely fast. Absolutely, we did. But in the short time that we were together and were married, we were very, very happy. He seemed insanely happy, like we were happy together. So it was shocking to me that my husband would say this to his best friend. And also, like, really sad as well. Like, I start getting upset. I'm like, he really said that? Like, that's so sad. Like, I love him. Like, is he trying to divorce me already? I thank her for telling me. We're both crying. I'm like, thank you so much for telling me. Like, these are things that, like, I want to know. Like, I don't want to not know that my husband's unhappy. Like, thank you so much for telling me this. So my husband gets home that day and I'm visibly upset. And he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I said, did you tell Jake that you're not happy with me and you married me too fast and you don't want to be with me anymore? And he gets these big eyes and he's like, what? No, I never said that. Of course I never said that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm happy, I'm good. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, my friend, like I said her name, told me that Jake said that. Like, did you tell Jake that? And he said, no, absolutely not. He pulls out his phone, he puts Jake on speaker and he says, Jake, did I ever tell you X, Y, and Z? And Jake's like, no, where the hell did that come from? So my husband and Jake, they're both mad at her. They're kind of texting her like, why would you lie about that? But in my mind, I'm like, I saw how upset she was. I saw it. Like, that was not fake. Until one of our other coworkers, I did forget to mention in the beginning of this video, at this time I was no longer working there. I had opened up my own business. So one of my old coworkers who still worked with her calls me one day and she is like, what is going on with you and friend? And I'm like, nothing, you know, my husband's mad at her, but like, nothing, why? So my coworker says to me, well, she came into work very upset because apparently she was at your house and she had confronted your husband about saying those things, and you shoved her, kicked her out and said, you're just jealous that I'm married and you're not, and you'll never find love, and you're just jealous of me. And my husband said, get out of my house right now and never come back. And she was in fear for her life because we were being so mean to her and we physically took her out of our apartment. From that moment on, do you know how bad I felt for not believing my husband and his best friend? Because I told them that I didn't believe a word they were saying. Like, they knew that I was like team friend with this one. But I knew if she could lie to that point. She was not at my apartment when we had this conversation. My husband was not at my apartment when we had this conversation. This was on FaceTime. And I cried and told her how much I believed her and thanked her for telling me. And she's gonna say that we were both home. She did it to our face and we physically kicked her out of our apartment.
What on earth? What on earth? What do you get out of that? What do you get out of calling someone, first off, acting skills 10 out of 10, but like, what do you get out of calling someone like sobbing, genuinely like you've heard the worst news of your life? And I don't know if anyone else felt the same, but when she said that, oh, he said this about your wedding, I was thinking, why is she crying about that? Like, don't get me wrong, you can shed a tear for your friend, but I would not be like uncontrollably sobbing, especially if it's been colleagues that they're not like lifelong best friends they've known since they're 2 years old. Like, I was a bit like, okay, a bit weird. But of course she's going to believe the person who's been sobbing down FaceTime, and then the two of them are like joined together like, oh yeah, no, just don't tell her, blah, blah, blah. That is so strange. Genuinely, what do you get out of it? And then to go to her work, which is literally my worst nightmare, to go to her work, lie through your teeth and say, oh, they said this X, Y, Z. Like, do you just go home and sleep in peace? Like, I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand how she just did that. I'd be raging, genuinely raging. Oh my god, what would you even do? Would you go confront them and just be like, this is such a lie? Or would you text them and be like, this is such a lie? God, your trust issues. Imagine going back to work again. You genuinely could never trust anyone ever again.